My sister-in-law tried to convince my husband I was infertile. So I exposed her darkest secret in front of the entire family. From the moment I married my husband, I learned that some people don't welcome new family with open arms. For me, that person was his sister, Lena, on the surface. She was the picture of charm, smiling at gatherings, offering polite hugs, but beneath that mask was someone who had decided I didn't belong. At first, it was little things. She joked that I was city spoiled because I grew up in a different place. She'd make comments at family dinners like, "Some women just marry for comfort, not love," while staring straight at me. If I ever confronted her, she'd roll her eyes and laugh, claiming it was just banter. I told myself to brush it off. After all, this was my husband's sister. I tried hard to win her over, helping her with errands, baking her a birthday cake, but no matter what I did, she twisted it into something cruel. The cake I baked, she told everyone I'd probably bought it from a store and faked it. My husband's advice was always the same: don't take it seriously. That's just how Lena is. So, I tried. I swallowed the insults and smiled through the jabs. But when we started trying for a baby, her cruelty sharpened into something darker. She dropped lines like, "Some women just aren't meant to be mothers," or "Maybe you should have started sooner." My friend couldn't have kids because she waited too long. She said these things in front of family and friends, stripping me bare in public. And still, I kept quiet for the sake of peace. The breaking point came at my mother-in-law's birthday dinner. The table was full of chatter and clinking glasses. When Lena leaned back in her chair, smirked at me, and said loudly, "It must be so hard for you knowing you can't give my brother kids." The room froze. Forks stopped midair. My husband stared at me, stunned. I asked her what she meant, and she replied with that smug smile, "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. If it hasn't happened yet, maybe it's because you can't." That night, my husband confronted me privately. "Is there something you're not telling me?" he asked. My heart cracked. We'd only been trying a short time, and now he was questioning me because of her. That's when he admitted Lena had been whispering in his ear for months, telling him I was infertile. She even claimed she knew it for a fact. It was all lies. But I realized the truth. Lena wasn't just mean. She was trying to sabotage my marriage. And here's the irony: I'd kept quiet for years about her own dirty secrets. I knew she'd been cheating on her fiancé, Matt, with her ex-boyfriend. I had proof. Screenshots, texts, even photos. I stayed silent because I didn't want to destroy her life. But when she tried to destroy mine, my silence ended. At the next family barbecue, she started again, smirking as she said, "Not everyone is cut out to be a mother. That was it." I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Funny coming from you, Lena, considering you spend so much time in your ex's bed while Matt thinks you're faithful." The silence was deafening. My in-laws froze. Matt's face drained of color. Lena sputtered, but I pulled out my phone and showed them the proof. Screenshots, messages, photos. The explosion was immediate. Lena screamed at me, accused me of being jealous, tried to twist the story into me plotting against her. But this time, I didn't flinch. I said, "I kept your secret for years, but you tried to destroy my marriage with lies." I just told the truth. Matt stormed out, and my in-laws sat in shock. My husband, for the first time, stood firmly at my side. For weeks afterward, Lena alternated between rage and guilt trips, angry texts calling me a homewrecker, then messages like, "You didn't have to go that far. We're family." She dismissed her infertility comments as just jokes, but I knew the truth. She was unraveling, and she wasn't done. Then came the anonymous email. Photos of me supposedly meeting another man, doctored. Fake. Pathetic attempts of framing me as unfaithful. I recognized her writing instantly, and with the help of a friend who worked in HR, we traced the IP address back to her hospital. The evidence was sloppy, but the intention was chilling. Lena wasn't just trying to humiliate me anymore. She wanted to destroy me. The lies escalated. She showed up at her parents' house crying, claiming I'd threatened her life. She staged a fake pregnancy, waving a test around as proof. She even broke into my home, leaving a negative test on my counter with a note, "Since you're so interested in who's pregnant." Every time I thought it couldn't get worse, she proved me wrong. When we finally went to the police with the mountain of evidence, the detective's face said it all. This wasn't petty family drama anymore. It was stalking, identity theft, harassment, crimes that carried real consequences. And that's when the story truly began to spiral. After the police got involved, everything changed. What had started as cruel comments at family dinners was now a criminal case. Detectives uncovered Lena's trail of lies, fake photos, forged emails, and even stolen medical records. Each discovery painted a darker picture of just how far she'd gone. She wasn't just jealous. She was obsessed, and her obsession was dangerous. My husband and I changed the locks on our house after finding proof she'd broken in. We started documenting everything: screenshots, emails, texts, even notes about when we saw her car parked near our street. With every step, the truth about Lena unraveled further. She created fake social media accounts to stalk me. She spread rumors in fertility groups pretending to be me. And she used her job at the hospital to dig into private records, searching for people she could use in her schemes. It was chilling. But the most shocking twist came when she claimed she was pregnant. She clutched a test like it was her shield, swearing it was Matt's baby. The timing was too convenient, right after her lies had been exposed. And sure enough, the story collapsed when her ex-boyfriend Jake accidentally revealed on social media that he just bought the test for her that very day. The pregnancy was fake, just another desperate play. Her world fell apart in front of her family. Matt confronted her with evidence from a private investigator, photos, dates, places she'd been with Jake while pretending to be faithful. My in-laws, once blind to her cruelty, sat in stunned silence as the truth rolled out in front of them like a horror movie. For the first time, my husband's parents couldn't defend her. The daughter they'd enabled for years was finally exposed as the liar she truly was. But Lena didn't stop. She escalated. She sent anonymous threats, left fake pregnancy tests in our bathroom, and even showed up outside our house screaming about how I'd stolen her brother. Neighbors watched as police cars hauled her away in handcuffs for violating her protective order. The charges piled up: stalking, burglary, theft of controlled substances from the hospital, identity theft. And through it all, she kept insisting she was the victim. Court hearings began, and with each one, the picture got clearer. Lena wasn't suffering a momentary breakdown. She had been planning this for months, maybe even years. Investigators found journals in her apartment with my name scrawled at the top of a page titled, "How to Make Someone Look Crazy." She had step-by-step notes on gaslighting, on creating fake evidence, on breaking me down until no one believed me. It was terrifying to see, but it was also proof that I wasn't imagining any of this. She had targeted me from the very start. As the trial approached, witnesses came forward. Matt testified about her affair and manipulation. Jake admitted she had blackmailed him, even planted drugs to frame him. Hospital staff revealed she'd been making dangerous errors at work and snooping into records she had no business accessing. Even her own father confessed that years ago she'd stalked an ex-boyfriend so badly the family had to pay for therapy to avoid expulsion from college. The trial itself was surreal. I sat just feet away from the woman who had tried to destroy my life, listening to lawyers describe the chaos she created. Her defense tried to claim she'd had a mental breakdown, that betrayal had pushed her over the edge. But the evidence was overwhelming. Emails, fake accounts, journals, witnesses, photos, recordings of her threatening me. The jury didn't take long. Guilty on stalking, burglary, theft, harassment, identity theft, and more. When the verdict was read, Lena sat stiff in her chair, shaking her head like the world had turned against her. Her mother wept quietly, while her father simply looked tired, as though he'd finally accepted the truth. For me, it was bittersweet. I hadn't wanted revenge. I just wanted to feel safe again. At sentencing, I read my statement aloud. How I'd spent nights terrified in my own home. How what should have been the happiest time of my life trying for a baby had been poisoned by fear. I told the judge I wasn't seeking punishment, but protection. He nodded and with a firm voice sentenced Lena to 4 years in prison with mandatory mental health treatment, followed by 5 years of probation. That day, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe again. Not long after, I discovered I was pregnant. This time, it wasn't a fake test or a manipulation, it was real. I'll never forget telling my husband, watching his face light up, and feeling the weight of everything we'd endured finally start to lift. We kept the news private, savoring it as something Lena could never taint. Months later, as I held my newborn daughter in my arms, I realized that every attempt Lena made to destroy us had failed. She wanted to break my marriage, but instead, it grew stronger. She wanted to ruin my happiness.